made the same representation for an education trust fund to be set up. Now we have an education trust fund. Our university is better funded. Within the police itself, we forget that we had a Kenny Martin's police equipment fund. He went about raising money for, and then at the end of the day, ended up buying BMWs and ended up in prison. So yes, this one is, the difference is that it's going through a bill process. So when the law is passed, there will be a legal framework for setting it up and all of that. But that does not mean that the bureaucracy that will emerge to run it will not spend the money on itself. So in my view, what we will actually achieve if this goes through is to curb internal corruption in the police, which is due through this process where people, individuals, for various reasons that may not be in public interest or altruistic, donate money, donate equipment, donate all of that. And the police officers, usually the senior one that receive this thing, do not account for it. In fact, in 2003, I went for a conference with the then chairman of Police Service Commission, Chief Simon Okeke, where civilian oversight bodies of police around the world were meeting. And I encouraged him to write to some of these commissioners of police to give you an account of how much they receive outside the budgetary provisions, to give you whether you are actually on top of. By the time the figures come, this is volunteered information. I mean, if it was something that people went through their books, they will find more. But the amount they, provided was more than 10 times the amount they received from the force. So money, yes, it will improve, but I am thinking that we need a much more deeper approach to resourcing the police.
Considering how this will be funded, because what they are also looking at is that this just won't be government funding. This will also be, private individuals, corporate entities, and so on and so forth. If that is the case, you don't think that they will be more interested in police accountability? So that it doesn't become what the Education Trust Fund has become?
The same process were led to Education Trust Fund. The oil industry, I think there was even a 1% tax. The question is, have those people held the trust fund accountable? And mind you, the trust fund is not a security organization run by people who are authorized by law to use weapons and all kinds of coercive measures. So if they could not hold the Education Trust Fund accountable, is it the Nigerian police force that they would hold accountable? And the way people behave in this country, you just donate money, you believe you're doing a good work, and you believe that they will use it better. But to spend the extra time to actually find out what they are doing, except the National Assembly itself, takes that function of requiring both the fund and the police to periodically account. It could be quarterly report, and also demand side by side that this fund that we are generating through this trust fund, what is the annual policing plan you have? What problem are we hoping to solve by it? Can we, in a year or 6 months' time, get an account from you to show us what you have done with this fund that we budgeted for and the ones collected by the trust fund? If we go in that direction, we may begin to improve accountability in the police over use of resources.
You were able to trace the problem of, where the police began to experience acute shortage of funds. But then does it explain the reason why we will budget a certain amount to the Nigerian police and release only a fraction of what it is that we budget, which was inadequate in the first instance? Again,
that is a problem that you see in the system, and is not peculiar to the police. Again, how did it start? Is this budget by envelope? The government realized it didn't have all the resources to fund all the demands, and you have competing priorities. So agencies of government come, make budgetary presentation, and they are given a certain amount in an envelope and say, go deal with it. I believe it started under Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's leadership of Ministry of Finance, and that's what we are experiencing across the sector. It's just that we are focusing on the police because the police is the public face of government. But